Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another video. Today we're going to be talking about Chivalry 2 yet again. It has been a little bit of a break in between all the videos. And if you were expecting a lot of Chivalry 2 content, I'm sorry that I have, had a little bit of a break. If you go to my community tab, you'll see why. And I did experiment a little bit while I was away with some different type of editing, like with the cinematic that we did very recently. So if you do like cinematic stuff, make sure to check that out. Tell me what you think, if that's something you want me to incorporate more in future content. Chivalry 2 has been out for a little while now. We do have their Trello board. I think it would be worth to kind of see what the Chivalry 2 developers and Chivalry 2 the game would provide to us, the gamers and the players, in the near and far future. To see what we could actually expect, what kind of content we will get, and anything that it will be nice for our hands and eyes to lay and feel on, I guess. Okay, that made no sense. I will leave a link down in the description to this Trello board. Basically a roadmap that's a little bit more involved. You can click on things and see how things are being worked on, what's coming along, and what's gonna happen, really. So, the first things that we can see here is that we have some information, general issues, and we have some patches that are coming out, what they're planning to do, and we can see what we're gonna be getting. Now we're going to mostly focus on a little bit of the issues, what's to come, the content updates, and what's to come in the future. Now one thing you might be a bit disappointed by, and I was a little bit disappointed by as well, when Chivalry 2 launched there was no horses. And I thought there would be horses at launch, but no, we'll get them later on. Right, let's start with the general issues, from the top and move our way down. At the top, cross-platform parties and play. Now this is apparently an issue. I don't know too much about this issue, but apparently it's a little bit wonky to be on different platforms and actually play together. And I'm very glad that they are working on this, because that means that if you are playing on PC or if you're on a different console than your friends, you can all still play together. And that's pretty nice. And that's, I would say that's a big focus, because I think a lot of you are probably consoles or on different consoles, and now that you can play with each other, it's going to be a much easier time, at least to enjoy the game with friends. We have some server performance degradation. Servers sometimes going into a state where rubber banding, movement connections and other issues are notable. And I think this is something we experienced in the beta as well at some points, where the server sometimes just felt like it was dying. Like the server had been on and spent all of its life and then it was dying. So I do hope that, and it's a high priority, we can even see the rating that they give for these issues. Special edition grant issues, PS4 to PS5 generation party support, cross-generation party support. I would also imagine this is pretty important, because that's kind of like the cross-play. Like if you're on PlayStation 4 and your friend just got the new PlayStation 5, you can still play together, but apparently there's some issues there. They're gonna fix it, hopefully. And it's a very high priority, so that's great. Microtransactions pricing error fixes. Now that seems, I have not seen this issue too much. I haven't really looked at the microtransaction currency that in depth. If you do want an in-depth video on the microtransactions and how the Chivalry 2 system is now, be sure to let me know. I'll take a little bit of a dive and see what we can find. Concerns with number of bots present in matches. Some people say, oh, there's too many bots. And I have noticed some games you do lose because you have more bots than an enemy team. And the bots are like a one-shot if you do like a heavy attack, which is a little bit weird. But yeah, sometimes the bosses just go, they just go tits up. They go straight in there and then they die. And they don't do anything for the team. And sometimes that can be a little bit annoying. Your team is trying to do well and trying to win, and then the bots are literally ruining your opportunity to win, which is a little bit annoying, but I'm glad they're working on it. I think in certain matches or modes, bots shouldn't really exist, like in Team Deathmatch, where your goal is to kill more enemies than the enemy team kills of your team. Having bots in those modes can kind of cause instability, or where the enemy team gets a lot of free kills on these potatoes walking around. We don't want that. We don't want potatoes walking around giving free kills to people. Come on. Loadout menu makes you miss spawns. This is also an issue that I've had. I remember I was in a server and I just like changed my sword. I had to wait like 30 seconds to spawn. Like I had to wait 2 waves. I'm really glad that they're working on this as well. And my goodness, I really hope that they figure out the solution for this. Now, let's focus a little bit on what is to come in July this month. The console server browser. And I've seen a lot of people in the comments on previous videos that were like, oh, Turtle, how do I find Dual Link servers or shit like this? I think with the console server browser, every platform will be able to join Dual Link servers and custom servers, and that is a great thing. I really like it. Auto balance improvements, that's also a good thing. We want to have better auto balance, sounds fair. Console users are unable to initiate vote kicks. I'm glad they're also making it so that console players can have a say in who's getting kicked and not. It's a little bit weird that only PC, the master race, gets to kick people, but that's just me. But I'm on PC, so I don't mind, you know. All you console peasants, calm down. I'm just kidding. I'm glad that they're making it so that it's a little bit more inviting for every console and every platform. Additional Epic Games party fixes. I don't know what this is. I guess that this is something about if you're on PC and you make a party and then your Epic Games account is a little bit funky and then it doesn't work properly. A lot of crash fixes are coming. Very good. Free-for-all victory not triggering at the expected kill count. Now this is something that I didn't even know was a thing, but apparently you can win or not win by a random kill count. Sounds a bit weird, but I guess gaming and games can have unexpected issues. Reduced vote kick threshold. I also think this is a good thing because sometimes when you're in the middle of everything and then all of a sudden you see a vote kick pop up, and let's say this guy that is being vote kicked has team killed or just intentionally hindered the team. Like in the beta, I experienced this one potato engineer that kept building walls in the spawn trying to... Oh, it made me so angry. But it was at the end of the game. He tried to just ruin the game for everybody else, and it made me furious. But now, less of a threshold is good, because now the people that don't really pay attention to what's going on can vote. And if it's enough yeses, instead of having to convince your entire team that this guy is bad, let's get him kicked, it's a little bit easier. Which I think is good, but also bad. But you know, it's always a good and bad thing in every scenario. But yeah. And apparently a lot more in this patch. We don't know. We don't know what it is. But now, let's go to the Content Update 1. Now this Content Update, this is where we're getting a lot of cool stuff. We're getting 2 new maps, as far as I understand it. We're getting Gallencourt, which they have showed in a video. It looks awesome. It looks really cool. The screenshot looks... It kind of gives me the vibe that a Mordhau map gave me when I first saw it. But I have a feeling the Chivalry 2 map will kind of tell the story of the map and the setting a little bit better than Mordhau. That's just me. That's my opinion. Sorry. And we get an unannounced map, which is going to be cool. Hopefully it's another big map. Because I think what Chivalry 2 can do as well to make more maps for smaller modes is to take their big maps and cut them down and make some small areas where you can fight. And we're getting a new game mode? That sounds awesome. We're getting new character voices. And maybe, imagine if yours truly, the Turtle, could do a voice line. No, that will be absolutely banging, let me tell you. Okay, I'm still trying to audition here, you know, part of my portfolio with voice acting is on YouTube. We're getting more character customization. More customization is good in my opinion. More stuff to do as a player to kit yourself out. We like that. More of that, TornBanner. Yes. We get a player profile screen. Now, I also think this is pretty cool because then we can get a breakdown of how you play the game, what you're doing best at, what class you're spending your most time with, what weapon you're using the most. And I think this will be just a cool stat to track yourself, to improve and try to beat your own score. And friendly competition. You can tell your friends that you're much better than them with a poleaxe than they are, and ever will be, because you are the poleaxe master. Nice. And of course, the most important thing, I have been banging on the door of TornBanner Studios since the day I was in Chivalry 2 about ARROWCAM. It is happening. And we even get a little GIF, and it looks good. And you know, many people would say, wait, why the hell would you follow your arrow? Well, sometimes as an archer, right, you're in the medieval times and you're in a video game. You can play in third person, for God's sakes. You can play in third person and swing your sword out all over the place. Why am I not allowed a medieval GoPro or a medieval camera attached to my arrow that I can follow? It's like a, you know, drone cam. You can follow the arrow. But also, there is some utility to this. And let me tell you, sometimes what you can do, you can kind of scout an area. Let's say you don't know if there's enemies over there or somewhere. You can just fire an arrow and follow it. And then you can see if you can spot any enemies around. Also, it's a good way to gauge your drop. What I mean about this is, let's say you're sitting on a wall on, I don't remember the map right now, Lion Spire. And you're sitting on the top of the wall and you're shooting arrows down at the enemies pushing. Now imagine you're the enemy archer trying to shoot up at that wall to kill those archers. The ARROWCAM will give you an idea of where they're sitting, how much you should aim above them, where your arrow is going when you're trying to shoot at them. The only downside is, I do not know if they are disabling player input while you're in the ARROWCAM. And what I mean about this is that when I activate ARROWCAM, will I be able to move around W, A, and D, move my character while I follow the arrow? That's, we'll figure that out when that happens. But I'm really happy, ARROWCAM is happening. Yeah. But increase that score from a 8 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10. Easy peasy. Then again, we're gonna look at Chivalry 2 again with another review at some point. So, they're just getting more text chat moderation tools. I do think that moderating a text chat is good, at least for the player base that TornBanner wants to foster. However, I also still think that limiting text chat to some degree will also cause the people that really want to cause harm. They're just gonna figure out different, like a million different ways. You need like almost a whole department just to sit there and make like variations of bad words to ban in the text chat because it's so easy to manipulate. And you don't want it to become too overly moderated either, because sometimes you can have a normal conversation and all of a sudden like half your sentence was blurred out because a word you said could be construed in a way that would be in a bad way. So hopefully it's not too heavy. Text moderation is good, but it's tools. We'll figure it out. Gamepad accidental... what? Accidental game... No, wait. Accidental customization purchases? What? Users are accidentally buying items. Wow. So apparently if you're on... if you're on console, you could just like browse to customization and boom, all of a sudden you're in a new outfit and you bought it with all your in-game currency and you wasted it all and now you can't afford what you really wanted. I mean, that sounds pretty funny. If somebody has clips of that, I kind of want to see if you scrolling by the customization menu and boom, new outfit. Just all of a sudden, boom, new outfit. My goodness. We're getting more weapon customization options. I do hope, still, TornBanner, please listen to me. I do hope at some point you guys add like more weapon. I mean, yes, I know it's going to be hell to balance like 100 weapons. But it would be cool to have different weapons with different attributes as well. That's what I really liked about Chivalry 1, especially in the archer class. I'm an archer, you know, at heart, but I still like to be deep in there with my sword. So we'll see what that leads to eventually. And in the future, this is after content update 1. I'm a bit sad that horses didn't make it into this content update. That would have made this one update amazing. It's still pretty amazing, let me tell you. But in the future, we got horses. We got increased party size limits, which is really good, because I think in Chivalry 2, you should be allowed to kind of have as many friends as you want in a party. I feel like that's... come on. Oh, let's do it. We're also getting unofficial server support. This is a big gateway into like the modding scene and like having custom game modes and all this stuff. And that's going to be really cool to see when that happens. We're going to get lower player count and competitive game modes. Now this is also very interesting. Competitive game modes can mean a lot of different things. And I do hope that Chivalry 2 tries to maybe make it a little bit more of an esport or something. I would love to see it. I would give it a shot, why not? And we'll see how that goes in the future. We get more customization, UX improvements, and I think that this is the UI for the buying stuff. And that you can preview your character and weapons better. That's pretty cool. That sounds very nice. And much, much more. Not only will the whole team continue to be working on Chivalry 2, we're also expanding the team to up both the pace and quality of development further. Updates are planned for every part of the game, and we can't wait to launch many more updates to come. So if you feel like you didn't get enough information out of me, you can go to this Trello board. It's in the description. It's a lot of cool stuff happening. If you did enjoy me reading and talking a little bit about all the updates and patches and stuff coming along, be sure to leave that like. I really appreciate it, and thank you very much. And if you haven't already, maybe today is the day that you decide to subscribe with those notifications on. And remember, it is completely free, and you can always change your mind later on if it's not worth the time. Anyways, I've been the Turtle. Hopefully you're having a great day and a great summer. I am slowly recuperating and coming back into my kind of a, survivable form, I guess. So hopefully videos will be a little bit more common now and not so rare. I'll try not to be too slow. Anyways, I am a turtle. Give me some spice, okay? Until next time, have a good day. Bye-bye.